You wish.
Okay, so you only need a 3 or higher then.
All right, I'm gonna get this.
7, you succeed. So as you guys make your way through this heavily wooded wilderness, you come upon a river. It's about 30 feet wide and it's kind of raging. It's moving pretty fast. But on the other side of the river, there's some kind of strange device or structure, clearly not natural, made of smooth metal. Newman Era is a science fantasy role-playing game. The setting is called the Ninth World, and this is because the inhabitants of the Ninth World believed that there were 8 prior civilizations. Now, the Ninth World exists 1 billion years in our future, and so these 8 civilizations had lots of time to rise to incredible heights and then fade away again. And when I say incredible heights, I mean great advances in biotechnology, nanotechnology, interstellar travel, interdimensional travel. All kinds of wonders were discovered by these people. But those civilizations are now gone. And the people of the Ninth World are humans who have risen once again to build for themselves a new world, but to do so amid the ruins of these prior civilizations.
Okay. Is there like, okay, I'm trained in climbing, so is there like tree branches and limbs like that and everything go?
Sure, yeah, there's the trees kind of grow on one side and on the other, so, you know, if you want to Tarzan your way across, you could try it, yeah.
That's exactly what I've been waiting for.
I'm Jen. I'm playing Seitha. She is a clever glaive who masters in weaponry. A glaive is a warrior, and with her focus being masters of weaponry, that really gives her the ability to use all those weapons that she's covered in. With her descriptor being clever, that gives her training in things like trickery and lies, assessing danger, as well as resistance to mental attacks.
Is it clearly piranha infested?
Well, again, there's not really necessarily any way to figure that out right off the bat.
I have assessing danger, so
okay.
let me look around.
Yeah, you could definitely do that. So the difficulty would be 3.
Okay.
And so that means that, and you're trained, so you're going to reduce the difficulty to 2, which means you need a 6 or higher.
All right. Come on, big money. Yes.
16.
Wow,
well,
nice.
you beat it easily.
I totally assessed that danger. I surveyed it.
You are pretty sure that it is not piranha infested. In fact, you don't see any danger like that at all. But it is moving rather fast.
Can we tell how deep it is?
You're not really sure because you know, without investigating further, you know, the hard way.
Getting in.
I'm Shanna. I'm playing Dalen, a learned Jack who wears a sheen of ice. The fact that Jack is her type means that she's kind of a jack of all trades, and she gets to learn a new flex skill every day. The fact that her descriptor is learned means that she knows all kinds of things about astronomy and geology. And because her focus is wears a sheen of ice, it means that she controls cold and ice, and she gets things like ice armor to protect her. So I'm trained in swimming. If it's only waist deep, does that actually still help me? Is it?
Yeah,
okay.
Because especially in the middle part, and
swim.
you'll have fighting the current.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how wide is the river then?
It's about 30 feet wide.
Oh, okay.
How are you getting across?
I'm gonna hope that someone gets across. And does anyone have any rope?
Hi, I'm Bruce. I'm playing Leave, who's a strong-willed nano who wields power with precision. Nano is my type, which means that I have an ability to control all the nanotechnology which exists in the Ninth World. Maybe not all of it, but it gives me quite a bit of power over things. And I can do things like Onslaught, which allows me to blast things with force or mental power. My descriptor is strong-willed, and that makes me really able to focus on things, and I think it gives me an intellect boost. And finally, my focus is wields power with precision, and that makes any of the esoteries, like my Onslaught I was talking about, work really much better.
I don't actually have any rope.
I have an explorer's pack that has rope in it.
Okay, so if one of you Tarzaning or swimming can get across, both maybe simultaneously, pull me across in the rope, I will just paddle my arms a little bit.
All right.
He's the water wings.
Yeah.
He's in a raft with a cooler. Take your time.
Sure.
Okay, well I will swim across with a rope.
Okay.
That I will first attach to you so that
Oh, good
it's not
idea.
just in the water.
That's right.
You got the rope, you're on the other side, you're like, darn it.
Good to think of those things ahead of time. Yeah. All right, so,
I hold the rope.
all right. And the difficulty is 3.
Okay.
You're reducing it by 1 step,
Oh,
so you'll make it the difficulty 2. When characters attempt to take action in the game, what they do is they state their intended action, and the game master then assigns that task a difficulty based on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the simplest, 10 being the most difficult. Now what players can do is they can reduce the difficulty in a number of different ways. For example, training in that particular task reduces the difficulty by a step. An asset, such as the right tool in the right situation, might reduce the difficulty by another step. And lastly, players can use effort, which is a limited resource that all characters have, to reduce the difficulty even further. Once the final difficulty is reached, and so you know what number it is between 1 and 10, you simply multiply that number by 3, and that's the number or higher that you need to get on your die roll. If you've reduced the difficulty all the way to 0, then no die roll is needed at all. This is the way all tasks are resolved, whether it be climbing a tree, convincing an NPC to do something that you want them to do, or making an attack roll.
Okay, I'm gonna apply some effort.
Okay, that'll make it just a difficulty of 1, so you only need a 3 or higher. You easily succeed and make your way across the river like it is pretty much exactly what you thought, right? Especially in the middle, you really have to, use your skills to get across safely, but you do so with ease because you are an excellent swimmer. Excellent. How are you going to get across? Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you want to give it a try? Mm-hmm. Okay. It's going to probably be about the same thing, a difficulty of 3 to climb up the tree and kind of swing over to the other trees.
I think I'll use some effort.
Okay. So that would be 3 points off your might pool, and that reduces the difficulty to 2. All right, and you guys are rolling great, so you easily also get across. And
I took a selfie.
Yes, you do it with aplomb. You look amazing as you swing across the trees.
Okay, tie the rope. What's my? Do I know what my?
All right, so
is going to be?
to just get across on your own, it's going to be a difficulty 3, but you don't have any training in it, so you're going to need a 9.
So I have an asset, right?
And a cooler.
Sure, yeah.
Yay.
Right, so that'll make it a 2, so 6 or higher.
Okay.
Okay. And you make it.
Yay.
That's right. The rope steadies you, especially in the dangerous spots. You come out. You guys are both soaking wet. You're perfectly dry.
There's something wrong with this picture.
But then you see, as you are reorienting yourself on the other side of the river, something out of the corner of your eye is moving on the other side of this weird structure.
Awesome.
Great.
Now, when the people of the Ninth World go around and explore these ancient ruins, they find these weird devices, and they collectively call these things the Newman Era. Anything that comes from the past is referred to as the Newman Era. Now, when they find it, they don't necessarily look at it as technology, because as Arthur C. Clarke said, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. So to these people's eyes, what they're uncovering are artifacts of magic. So the technology that they find kind of comes in a number of forms. The first and foremost of them are called ciphers. And every player character in Numenera has ciphers that give them limited one-shot abilities to do really amazing, seemingly magical things. Other, more potent things are called artifacts. They have a longer lasting ability. They come later in the game. So player characters in Numenera explore ancient ruins, find these great wonders of the past, and then use them to build a present and hopefully a future. So the creature that comes around from the side of this device is kind of this hulking humanoid brute. But the weird thing about it is that its head, which is kind of a wide, almost skull-like thing with skin taut against bone, it's not fully attached to the creature, the rest of the creature. It's floating freely above it, looking at you.
Have we ever seen or heard of anything like that And when I say that, it's because I'm trained in the Newman Era. So,
you can see if maybe you've heard about something like this before. You've certainly never encountered it directly.
okay.
So the difficulty would normally be 4, but you're trained, so it would be 3.
Okay, I think I'm still going to use a level of effort to
Okay.
try and bring that down a little.
Okay. So that makes it 2, so you need a 6.
Alrighty.
Nice.
And you get a 9. So, yeah, you remember sometime, maybe in one of your books when you were studying, you read about a creature like this called a Nevagen.
Nevagen.
And you know that these things are not necessarily hostile, not necessarily overly friendly, but they do sometimes know secrets.
Okay, well, I will caution my companions. I say, I recognize this entity, and I will just kind of oversell it. I say, it's a friendly entity, knows much.
Well, I have an inability in lore and knowledge, so I'm just going to start trying to trade beadwork with it, or bribe it with cranberries, and watch the magic happen.
Cranberries?
So now you know who you can bribe.
Yeah, that comes in Explorer's Pack.
Do you want to talk to it?
No, I have an inability in charm and persuasion. I'm surprised you didn't notice this already.
That was your style.
There's all the
We're
belching.
going to hang back. You go
All
try.
right. I say, welcome, creature. We're here to explore this structure. Do you live here?
He seems to understand you.
Okay.
And he replies back in your own language, what do you know of this? And he seems to motion toward the structure, device, whatever it is.
Say, we heard that there was a strange structure over here, and that is why we're here. We're here to explore it. What can you tell us about it?
He seems hesitant at first, and you're probably going to need to...
Say, maybe we can trade some information or something.
Okay. So you're going to need to make a roll for this interaction to just kind of see just how amazingly charming you are to this weird alien creature.
I'm not particularly trained in any of that sort of thing, so I'll just do it naked-brained.
Okay.
I will use a level of effort again.
Okay, so the difficulty before, that'll make it 3, so you need a 9.
All right. Let's use this.
But you only get a 5.
You tripped and insulted its mother.
So instead of replying, it just it kind of turns that weird floating head, looks at the side of the device, and you can see now you're kind of on the other side of it, the side that's not facing the river. There seems to be like a panel or a door set into the side of it. Not really sure, which of those things it is, but he kind of looks at it. And then he backs away and doesn't say anything.
Oh, well, I apologize to the Nevagen for inadvertently casting aspersion on its ancestry and walk over to the device and say, oh, what do we have here?
You're so fickle.
Enough with you. All right, I will, unless someone else has some ability to do some technical or electrical or stuff, I can try and use my Newman Era training to try and figure this out.
I could use my training in assessing danger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Does the Nevagen seem to care that we're approaching his doorway thing?
No, in fact, he just seems to have stepped back, maybe 5 or 6 paces, and he's just watching what happens next.
Make anyone else nervous?
Yeah, a little bit.
Maybe he's just one of those creatures that watches things.
Right, that's his whole job.
Yeah.
Something might happen.
I want that job. Right.
I hope this is not his house. Maybe he just locked his...
Yeah, he lost his keys.
Yeah.
He
All right,
doesn't
well-
want to admit it.
So, at this point, based on its weird reaction, normally the difficulty you would have to make a roll for assessing danger. But at this point, the situation has kind of reduced that difficulty down to 0, which means there's no die roll involved.
Okay.
You can see that there's something dangerous about this panel, this doorway.
Okay. Hey, there's something dangerous about the panel.
Ooh, I back off too.
Or just Like, yeah, I'm looking at him, I'm looking at the panel, and he's looking like, are they gonna do it?
All right, well, that being the case, I will be more cautious
Okay.
when I investigate the panel.
All right.
For what that's worth,
Okay.
if anything.
I'm
So,
gonna activate my ice armor just in case as well.
Okay.
And it looks cool.
And it looks
Yeah,
awesome.
so you coat yourself in a sheen of ice. You're all glittering and jewel-like now.
Woo!
I could tell you which buttons to push. No, okay, that's probably better.
How much armor do you have?
I actually have a ward.
Oh, so you have the ward.
yeah.
Ah.
I
Well, I have 2 points of armor, which I don't know, and I guess is more than... probably not enough for this. But I am trained in speed defense, so I guess if something happens... If I push... Do you know how to get in yet?
No, I haven't
Okay, so if we
done it.
figured out how to get in, and it is dangerous, I could try to do it and then jump out of the way really fast.
That sounds smart.
Oh, no, it doesn't.
Sounds smart to me.
Sounds really smart to me. Like,
You're the one jumping back. Well, I will very delicately try and figure out what's going on with this panel.
Okay, this is going to be a hands-on sort of thing.
Is it a intellect? Is it a Newman Era?
It would be using your Newman Era training, right?
So I will use that, and I will use yet more my intellect, another level of effort.
Okay. So 3 more points from your pool. And 13, you succeed. You think, you think that this is a sliding panel, sort of basically a door, sort of a small door, and you know how to open it. You found the control, there's like a small control panel, and you know how to open this, but your friend is telling you that it would be dangerous.
Because the friend told me that it would be dangerous.
Here's how you open the door.
All right, that's... Do I,
But
and I
jump
have to
back
actually...
right away. when
Yeah, do you
do
have
it.
like a staff or
Yeah, I
anything
have an
like that?
axe. Can I use the end of the axe to...
Subtle.
Well,
Is it like a button push thing?
yeah, it is.
I have a wand that you could use to press it. A
Alright.
wand-like device. Keeps insects away too, by the way, in
sold.
case any insects come out.
Yoink.
It's an oddity, right?
Yeah.
I am snagging your oddity. I'm going to put down my oddity, which are goggles that turn everything green.
Okay.
Oh, collateral.
That's right. Trust her.
This is not a trade.
All right.
Okay, and then I'm going to go as far away as I can and still push the thing I need to push, and then try to get out of there as quickly as I can.
So you're gonna push it and then leap back?
Yes,
Is that
because I'm trained in speed defense.
Just gonna like
Okay.
speed flip backwards.
All right.
It'd be amazing.
Or awful.
okay?
So what do I need?
Well, there's no difficulty involved in pushing the button.
Right.
He's showing you how to do that. You're gonna you push the right button and you open this panel, and the panel begins to slide open, revealing a space beyond. But it kind of catches, and then it kind of stutters a little bit as it opens, and as it does, sparks fly, and the whole device kind of begins to just kind of glow and thrum with energy, like bolts of electricity going over the top of it. And let's see if you can jump back in time.
I'm going to jump back. And
Okay, so this is going to be a difficulty 5 speed defense.
all right, so I'm going to use 1 level of effort, and I don't have any edge, so that'll cost me 3.
Okay, so you're trained and you're using effort, so that'll make it a 3, so you need a 9 to get back safely. And you roll a 20. Nice roll. All right.
Backflipped, made a sandwich. Amazing.
Yes. So yeah, not only do you get back out of the way, but you were able to stay there long enough and kind of depress the controls long enough so that you managed to get the thing to open entirely before you get back. And you see now that there's dark space beyond this door. And you notice that while all of this has been going on, you've been focused on this doorway, you look and the Nevigen is just gone.
Using my inability again, I'm like, it can vanish.
However, you guys don't really have an opportunity to even think about the Nevigen's sudden disappearance because something else comes onto the scene. Now that you've got this panel door open, something comes out of the structure. And it's also humanoid in shape, but it's a completely different kind of creature. It's almost certainly mechanical in some way. It's made of metal and synth, and there's rubber tubing and wires, and it's got a long, weird neck with a kind of a small head with 2 glowing red eyes. And it makes kind of a weird, kind of high-pitched, squealing, beeping noise. And
How big is it?
it's a little bit taller than any of you.
Oh, so big.
Let's kill it.
Well,
You're not going to try to kill it first?
Yes,
in its hands, it has some kind of long metal device that looks dangerous, even without a SS danger roll.
Okay.
Hello, creature.
It doesn't seem to respond to you at all. In fact, it is clearly not happy that you have just opened this door, and so you're gonna have to roll initiative. I'm gonna need the book. Combat is handled pretty much like any other kind of task in the game. Players are going to be making rolls based on a level of difficulty, and that level comes from the level of the creature. So to attack a level 4 creature is just like attempting any difficulty 4 task. Now the one thing to keep in mind is that in Numenera, players make all the rolls. That means that when a player's turn comes around to make an attack, they make an attack roll. But when the NPC's turn comes around to make an attack, the player makes a defensive roll. So you're looking for a 12.
I took initiative as my Jack Flex skill. So
Oh, okay, cool. So you only need a 9.
Well.
All right, well, the two of you failed, but you
Yeah.
go first. You get ahead of it.
Okay.
So what do you want your action to be? It hasn't yet acted, but it's raising up this clearly dangerous looking thing and kind of pointing it in your general direction.
Wand of friendship.
That's right. I'm gonna assume that's not the wand of friendship, and I'm gonna blast it with onslaught and use force to try and blow the rivets out of its metal hide.
Nice.
Okay, cool.
Can I assess what the difficulty might be?
Well, you think it's going to be a difficulty 4, so you need a 12.
I'm gonna use a level of effort to
Okay.
bring that down by.
It means you only need a 9.
Unfortunately, I only roll a 6.
Okay, so your blast of energy goes past it and kind of hits the side of this thing, but doesn't seem to have any effect. You didn't even put a dent in the side of the device.
It's too powerful for us!
So now it's this automaton's turn, and it reacts in kind and shoots out a beam of energy at you. So now you're going to need to make a speed defense roll. Again, the difficulty is going to be 4, and it's shooting out this blast of red energy.
Red energy. I don't actually have an edge in speed, but I'm still going to use a level of effort.
Okay.
Dodge out of the way.
Okay.
12.
12 is a success. So you duck out of the way, the energy shoots by you, hits the ground, and sets a small part of the grass on fire.
That's dangerous.
Nice.
Safety tip.
So now it's your turn. What do you do?
All right. Well, I have a heavy crossbow.
Okay.
I'm going to shoot at the thing, and I have the special ability of pierce,
Okay.
and so I'm going to use that, and I'm also going to use a point of effort.
Okay. So if you use a level of effort, it's 3 points from your speed
Yes.
pool, and then another point for pierce. So it'll be a total of 4 minus your 1 edge. So for 3, but you'll be doing +1 damage now.
Okay, awesome. And
A 6, however, is not going to hit, and your crossbow bolt flies past it, goes through the door and down into the darkness somewhere. You don't.
never
Do
to
we
be
hear any-
seen.
hear
Yeah, right. It's like, there's a floor. There's a floor.
All right.
Oh man. All right. So
It's all on you.
the only thing I have that might even do any damage to this thing is an axe. And am I close enough to be able to axe at it?
You're close enough that you can take a couple of steps forward and move up
Sweet,
because you're
sweet.
all sort of within immediate range.
I am going to do that, and I'm going to apply 1 level of effort to hit.
Okay. So you're going to need a 9,
Okay.
but you only roll a 5. All right. So you swing and just you kind of go over this thing's head. And it moves with some alacrity. It ducks down and you go past it. And that brings us back to your turn.
All right. So
Now it's all on you,
things
see?
are going bad here, so I pull out one of my ciphers. I'm going to pull out my shocker.
Okay.
I'm going to activate it, and I'm going to charge it.
All right, cool. So it's this kind of long rod, and when you activate it, it scintillates with energy at the end of it.
Try Rod of Friendship on this, buddy. So I would like to, since I'm attacking it, would this be out of might or out of...
It'd be if you're going to spend points, it'll be out of your might pool, because it's a melee attack, essentially.
I'm going to use a level of effort for my might then.
Okay, so you need a 9 or higher.
All right.
And you roll a 20.
Yes.
All right. Cool. In Numenera, what you roll on your die can sometimes change what happens when you attempt a task. For example, on any task, if you roll a 19 or a 20, you'll get a special effect, which means that not only do you succeed, but you get to do something extra. If you roll a 1, that means the GM can intrude. Now, a GM intrusion means that things could suddenly change in the narrative and things might all of a sudden not be going your way. Now, in combat, there's even more special rolls. If you roll a 17, you get +1 damage. If you roll 18, it means +2 damage. If you roll a 19, it's +3 damage, or you can choose to have a special effect, like maybe you knock your foe back a few steps. If you roll a 20, you get +4 damage or a major special effect. Maybe you knock your foe down, maybe you stun him or push him off a cliff. And of course, if you roll a 1, you still face that GM intrusion. All right, well, obviously 20 is as good as you can get, and it gives you a choice. You can try to do something special to this thing, knock it down, stun it, something like that, or you can do 4 extra points of damage.
I think I'm just going to take the 4 extra points of damage because the shocker is a level 7, so it does 7 points of damage.
Wow, okay.
We're looking at 11.
11 points of
nicely
damage.
done.
All right, so fill this thing with energy. The whole thing kind of lights up like a Christmas tree with, weird bits of it just start to glow kind of ominously. It doesn't fall, but it looks really unsteady. It's like some of its joints don't work exactly right anymore, and it's kind of moving awkwardly. However, as it is kind of moving jarringly, awkwardly, whatever, it bashes into the side of the doorway again, where the panel was not fully open. Well, it was not, and it seems to activate that same weird malfunction that's going on with this thing, and so that there's suddenly sparks fly from the doorway, and the whole thing lights up with electricity again. And so this is a GM intrusion. In Numenera, the GM doesn't roll dice. Instead, she can at any time use what's called a GM intrusion. GM intrusions can change the course of things and suddenly present a brand new challenge to the players that they weren't expecting. Maybe the floor gives way underneath them, the ceiling collapses, more bad guys come into the scene. Anything could happen, really. It's the GM kind of changing things up a bit to keep things exciting. Mechanically, what happens is that the character who's most directly affected by this gets 2 experience points. One, they get to keep. The other, they give away to another player, awarding them for whatever they decide is valuable to them at the time. So that means you get 2 points.
Because I'm standing right next to it.
You're the one, yeah, you've just moved up to shock it. So you're the one that's in immediate danger.
Has anyone else done any damage to it this particular combat?
No.
I whizzed the air by it.
Let's see. Well, I will.
Jen
If
and I
someone,
fight over it.
if someone pulls my hide out of the combat. All right, so I have to jump back or something? Or
You
am I
do,
just-
or if there's something else you want to try, but this whole thing, you remember before what happened, this whole thing just kind of lights up with energy.
Would it be closer to jump through into the darkness? No, you know what? That's not. Just jump.
Okay, so it's going to be a speed defense, and it's going to be difficulty 5.
All right, well, I've only got 6 points of speed left, so I don't think I can risk any effort, so I'm just going to roll.
Okay, so it's going to be a 15. Oh, 9.
See what happens.
All right, so as this thing begins to just pulse with energy, you are shocked by it and take 5 points of damage. So that comes straight off of your might pool.
Is this? I have a little bit of armor from Ward. Does that suck that up, or do I take it all?
This is kind of ambient damage, so I'm afraid armor is not going to apply.
Hey, ouch.
So yeah, you're down to 6 might. All right, and you do need to award an XP to somebody.
I want cranberries later.
Nice. All right.
Word.
Cool. Experience points can be used in a couple of different ways in Numenera. The first and most straightforward way is 1 XP can be spent by the player to re-roll any die on the table, whether it be their die roll or someone else's. Or XP can be saved up so that your character can gain new abilities and eventually increase in tier and get even more abilities. Cool. All right. And so that was your action. So it's still functional. It's not doing well, but it takes its action. And now what it does is it kind of activates some control on this long rod, and like a spike comes out of the end of it, big horrible looking thing, and it grabs this thing like a spear almost. And you're right there as you were smashing on it with or trying to smash on it with your axe. And so it stabs at you.
No thank you.
So this will be a speed defense.
All right, so I'm trained in speed defense, and I am going to apply 1 level of effort.
Okay, so that will mean that it would normally be a 4, you'll make it a 2, you just need a 6.
8.
And you get an 8. All right, so you duck out of the way, and this thing stabs you, past you. And it stabs past you, and you're safe. And it's your turn.
All right, I'm going to try again with my crossbow.
Okay.
And use pierce again.
Okay.
And also apply a level of effort.
Okay.
So let's see. Wow.
Another 20. Nice. Wow, okay, so you have the same choice that Bruce did. You can try to do something special, you know, knock it down or you know.
Can't just do a cool move like crossbow. No, extra damage, right?
Yeah, 4 points of extra damage.
I will, since it's wavering, I'm going to go for the extra points of damage.
All right, well, in this case, it's probably the right choice because with the 4 extra points of damage plus your pierce, plus the heavy crossbow damage, this bolt just goes deep into its chest, and there's a small sort of explosion, and bits of synth and glass shoot out, and it collapses into the darkness back through the doorway.
And again, we listen. Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Can I take a recovery roll?
Sure.
Because I am really low in might.
Okay.
To do the same thing for an action.
Oh. That wasn't super. You know, that was actually so unhelpful that I'm going to use my rejuvenation might cipher.
Okay.
Which gives me 6 points of
Cool.
of might as well.
If we take 10 minutes, I might actually use a second recovery roll because I'm actually pretty hurt. So can we take 10 minutes?
Okay.
Sure.
We don't see anything else coming out of that.
Doesn't seem to be anything else. There's no
Okay.
sound.
We made a lot of noise.
That's a little bit better.
All right.
All right. I'm going to do that too. Oh, good.
All right. So you take a 10-minute breather, kind of gather your wits about you, and you prepare to
Head into the
Are we going in
darkness.
there? I guess we are. All right.
All right. Off to see what there is to find. Well, if it's matching them up, it's actually trying to get the duck to look like, you know, putting a little rouge on the duck and
Get out there.
That's
Have
right.
confidence.